Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Musharna. Now, I am super excited to review Musharna. I mean, the stats on this Pokemon are excellent. 55 attack, 29 speed. Perfect. We know this Pokemon's identity. We're not losing any stat points on speed because we're a bulky special attacker, and since we're a special attacker, we're not losing any points on attack. Everything is really well distributed, and I mean 116 hit points. Once you start getting over 100 hit points, excellent. 116 hit points, you are a very tanky Pokemon, and then 85 defense, 95 special defense. So we know exactly what this Pokemon wants to do. 107 special attacks means we're going to hit decently hard, and we can boost into hitting really hard, depending on how we're going to run Musharna. 85 defense means that we boost defense and hit points, so now we can take up a lot of hits, and then 95 special defense, we can leave that alone and do really well because Musharna is a Psychic type Pokemon, and it also gets access to Calm Mind because of it. So, identity, perfect. Psychic typing, not insane, but it's still going to be alright. The way that Musharna works with the Psychic typing means you're going to have some decent weaknesses. I mean, Bug, Ghost, and Dark aren't incredibly common, but you don't really have much to rely on either because you don't have a lot of resistances. So that's just going to be the breakdown for that. Offensively, Psychic typing isn't insane. You are immune by Dark type Pokemon, and you don't hit everything really well. You do have a lot of resist and not a lot of super effective hits, but overall, you know, when we just play everything together, Musharna is going to be very bulky and very consistent. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, Musharna just shows to be one of the best Trick Room Pokemon for double battles. Like, on its own, it really can't do an insane amount. Now, it can work out in singles depending on how you want to run it, but overall, this Pokemon needs to be supporting something else in doubles, and the 29 speed screams Trick Room, and the Psychic typing means it gets Trick Room. So, I was thinking, first off, Pokemon like Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile loves to be under Trick Room, 50 base speed, and then huge power with a lot of attack, and just craziness like that. So you can let it set up, and then Musharna is going to cover for you really well. So you set up the Trick Room, Mawile can go for Protect, Swords Dance, it has to really understand what's going on, but then it can just kind of throw out whatever. After that, Mawile is going to most likely be the second moving Pokemon on the turn, Musharna is going to be the slowest thing on the field, and because of that, we actually want a sassy nature, going to boost that special defense, but then we're also going to reduce our speed even more to nothing, and then we can look at supportive moves. So Helping Hand, we use that, Mawile gets more power for free. Mawile is going to blow up anything that receives damage from it, and it's going to be under Trick Room, so that's going to play out really well. You also get Magic Coat. Magic Coat means that if you're trying to get taunted on that first turn, you can use Magic Coat, or you can run a Mental Herb and something else. But if you're running Magic Coat and you're playing it just right, then that does give you Leftovers, Citrus Berry, Lumberry. You can kind of play around with a different item that might fool your opponent, and Magic Coat, you reflect back any kind of status. So if they're trying to hit you with Thunder Wave, Swagger, they're just trying to shut you down exclusively, Magic Coat is going to be pretty nice, and then you can just run a little bit of extra health with that. Leftover is going to be insane because of your ridiculous bulk, and you also get Heal Bell. Now, the last move is up to you. Do you want to be pure support, no offense? Does make you weak, but it does give you a lot of opportunity. Oh, they're trying to burn your Mawile Mega. No, you Heal Bell, and since you're slower, you're going first, so you're healing it, and then it attacks. So it really doesn't have to worry about the burn at all, and if there's like some kind of weird case where Musharna comes back in later in the game, you know, weird things happen, you can heal up the rest of your team. If you switch out another Pokemon, they get status. Something like that can work out. If not, you can always just run Toxic. That is going to be a little bit of extra frustration for your opponent. So Musharna Toxics both opponents, or at least the opponent that is not getting blown up by Mega Mawile. They're taking damage, they have to worry about that. Mawile can focus on other targets, so you just have to play around like that, and then this is going to be the ultimate frustration. Musharna is so tanky that it's rarely going to get blown up by one hit, and sometimes it even takes more than 2 hits to knock it out. So like fake out comboing into it, the taunt shutdown, if somehow taunt gets around it, you know, you're running Leftovers, you don't fail the Magic Coat, so then you let taunt get through. But that's really it. If you're running Mental Herb, Musharna is excellent and going to be super safe. Also, if you pair it with a Pokemon that has Quick Guard, Fake Out's not going to touch you, or you can just play some things like that. As for the ability, Synchronize kind of works. If you're already using Magic Coat, you can still run Synchronize, but it also might interfere with your Toxic, so that's something to be aware of. But if you're not running Magic Coat and you're running something else, Synchronize is an option. Forewarn. Now, you might see Forewarn on Musharna just to scout out your opponent's moveset. Forewarn can actually be really good. It's like you can distinguish if it's a Charizard X or a Charizard Y. You can figure out the moveset. You might be able to figure out the item depending on the opponent's most powerful attack. Telepathy is going to be a nice option. If you run it with like Earthquake, if you run it with Explosion, you might see Explosion. Explosion is going to be hilarious because you have a Pokemon like Lickilicky. Lickilicky has very low speed, so you just have it Protect on that first turn, then you have it explode under that Trick Room with like a Life Orb or something, and then Musharna is going to be safe from that, but the opponent opponents are taking extreme amounts of damage, so the telepathy, depending on your strategy, you can run whatever ability you feel is necessary, depending on how your moves and the goal of your team looks. On that, Musharna, it can do some really frustrating things in single battles, such as being a Calm Mind Baton Pass Pokemon. If a Pokemon needs special attack boosting, if it already has a high defense, sometimes Calm Mind is going to be very necessary, and that way you just bring in Musharna. Again, super bulky Pokemon. Against a physical attacker, since you are going to be running something like a Bold Nature, getting heavy amounts of defenses in there, you're also maxing out those hit points, it's going to be really hard to take you down with physical attacks. You also get access to Moonlight, and Citrus Berry is going to help you set up. So the idea is, Calm Mind. Calm Mind, Citrus Berry procs brings you over half. Then after that, you just read the damage. Are they still staying physical? Can you not, like, out-Moonlight them? Can you not PP stall them out? Just go for the Baton Pass, go into that next Pokemon, start going for the damage. If for some reason you can deal with them, you go for the Psychic. And if they only have special-type Pokemon, keep stacking those Calm Minds, keep using those Moonlights, try to get as many stats into that next Pokemon coming in as possible, or in some cases, Musharna might go for the sweep. They only have 2 special attackers left or something. Well, then you just go +4 Calm Mind, hit Psychic. If they're not dark, you win, and you still have the Moonlight sustain, which is pretty solid. So, frustrating Baton Pass Pokemon can also keep a Baton Pass chain going, and Musharna even gets access to Curse. So if you want it to have no offensive moves, or you want it to change it around its idea, you can go for Curse, going to boost your defense, going to also boost your special defense. This gives you a lot of options, that you just go into either a physical Pokemon, or a special Pokemon, or you keep a Baton Pass chain going, as I said, and that can get pretty frustrating. Musharna can also Trick Room Baton Pass with a little bit of setup, so you like Trick Room, Calm Mind, Baton Pass, that can work out well. The thing is, Trick Room is best in doubles because the Pokemon making use of it is already on the field. With a Baton Pass kind of setup, you are at a little bit of risk because, okay, you use Trick Room, you do a little bit of setup, you Baton Pass, then you only have a couple of turns of Trick Room left. However, some Pokemon, that's all they need, that if you use Musharna to set the Trick Room, Baton Pass out really quick into a Pokemon that's going to utilize the Trick Room, well then that means you get 2 turns, maybe 3 turns, depending on how you're playing it, of this Pokemon that needs to sweep under Trick Room. If it scores 1 or 2 KOs because of that, Musharna has done its job, and if you have Calm Minds, or you can even use Curse, that this is where you can go for that Curse, give that Pokemon defense, give that Pokemon offenses, that way even when Trick Room wears off, it might be able to bulk out a hit and then throw back a KO. So you have the opportunity to boost physical or special with Musharna, and even set a Trick Room. Also, Curse gives you opportunity to make a sweeper Pokemon dial back into a position to be useful under Trick Room, and then get enough tankiness to survive hits. And then we just have a little bit of extra gimmick. So I was thinking Musharna, if you are running Trick Room in doubles, can also go offensive as well. You use Trick Room, you set up Calm Minds after that, so if they ignore you as a support Pokemon, you know, you put it next to a Pokemon that's really intimidating, and then it's like, okay, I just went +2 Calm Mind, and now my Psychic's 2-shotting you, or you go for like +3 and you might find 1-shots. You do have a lot of natural special attack, and then you get a lot of damage. This also discusses Mental Herb. If they try to taunt you, they waste their turn, Trick Room goes off anyways, and then you can play around it from there. And that's going to be Musharna. Now, one thing I've said in the past that I messed up was Teeter Dance. I was thinking that Teeter Dance with a telepathy Pokemon like Musharna could be really nice. Ludicolo sets up, and then it's good in Trick Room, and then it uses Teeter Dance. Problem is, telepathy only blocks damage, so Teeter Dance is actually going to confuse you. I think I said that at some point in the past, so I messed that one up a bit. It would be a cool idea, but overall, Musharna, Trick Room boss right here. It's too tanky to go down, going to be some of the most reliable Trick Room in the game, has setup options, has support options, works in singles. It's a monster of a Pokemon. That's all because its identity is just right. Thank you, Game Freak. So if you guys enjoyed this video, that's how you use Musharna. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.